Hello, my name is Brian McGinness. I'm from Mandan, North Dakota, and I'm an organic vegetable farmer. We use draft horses to cultivate our land. We grow organic vegetables here for a CSA, community supported agriculture. And instead of using a tractor, I use draft horses for a lot of different reasons. And the simplest reason is because I really like it. I really enjoy using the horses because it's nice having work partners instead of machines. Well, I have machines too, but I like having my partners in the field. So I'm just going to get these guys cleaned up, take their harness off of them. Today we cleared some space for some more lettuce to plant, and all of our fall plantings need to go into the ground in the next few days, so the horses and I were out there clearing space in the field for them, those things. You know, CSA is people sort of subscribe to the farm for us. It's 6 months of a season, and they pay us like a flat rate for the whole season. And then every week they get their share of vegetables. And their share of vegetables essentially ends up being maybe 12 items, you know, a bunch of carrots and a head of lettuce, 3 pounds of potatoes or what have you. And the community is really happy about it.
2 handfuls our share.
2 handfuls? I need bigger hands.
It makes me feel good to eat fresh fruits and vegetables all season long. What's in season, and I'm not eating chemicals, and that makes me happy. And I noticed that I feel a lot better. Also, they're nice people. They're kind of like big babies, aren't they?
It was such a fresh concept here, the CSA, that there was no baggage with it. Like in other places, maybe somebody thinks of CSA as like a certain group of people, you know, it's a certain way of being, you know, a certain political slant and a certain environmental belief, but that didn't exist here. And so what we ended up with was that every kind of person that exists here joined the CSA. We had everybody from Baptist ministers to people who hold office in the Capitol, you know, to doctors and lawyers and single moms and 18-year-old kids just out of their house, you know, everything, and lots of families. It's been so pleasantly surprising since we got here to create this sort of community that where what we have in common is appreciation for local, fresh, organic produce.
I think people are starting to really develop a relationship with their food, and Riverbound Farm is kind of providing that story and seeing it in action. I think people are, you know, society has kind of developed this disconnect where their food is coming from, and even growing in a, you know, a really agrarian culture in rural America. We were kind of, you know, 5 years ago we were separated from that. So having that like direct connection, I think, is really important, and especially, I mean, you see the kids, you know, coming here and they're learning at a young age where their food is coming from and what it takes to grow food and have fresh, locally grown food, and I think it's huge.
A big part of our CSA is bringing people out to the farm. So I want people to come out and see how their food is grown, and they also want that, and they bring their children out here and they can come and see the plants growing. And it's amazing the appreciation that changes. I've had people who are members of the CSA, reluctant members, usually like a husband or a father or something, and they come to the CSA and you can see that they're skeptical about it for months at a time. You know, they look at the vegetables and it's like, yeah, kale, what do I do with kale? And then they finally come to the farm. They've been just picking up their vegetables in town, and finally they make their first trip out to the farm, and it's like you can see the light bulb go on, and then all of a sudden they're the most enthusiastic CSA member ever. It's like, oh, I see what you're doing. You're doing all this. Oh, you have these greenhouses and holy, all this equipment and these farms, and I mean, and these, you know, these big horses, and oh, it makes sense to me now. And then every time they come, it's, wow, this is the kale, I'll eat this kale. And that's exactly what the sort of the fantasy about it was, this dream about a CSA. And I see it happen. And then, or kids come out here and they're just absolutely amazed to pull a carrot out of the ground. It's like a revelation. The kid pulls a carrot out and it's, oh my goodness, that's a carrot, and it makes a difference, and people seem to be, the word spreads, everybody, not everybody, but people really are excited about it. And I think it is a positive difference, so. I was a teacher, and so that means I had good benefits. I had health insurance, I had a retirement program, and I was making a salary. Paychecks, kept coming, and but I wanted to be a farmer, and I wasn't really happy with that. So I quit my job, and we moved here to start this business. And we moved here literally with about $2,000 to get through the winter with, and very few belongings, and started our CSA with a couple of hand tools, a couple hoes, and we bought a rototiller. And now this is just starting our 4th season. So this is only 3.5 years later, and I make more money than I did as a teacher. I would say significantly more money than I made as a teacher. And I just bought my own farm. When I lived in Vermont, I bought a house, and we could barely keep up. We were like kind of just going under. And now I just bought a farm that is, twice as valuable as that house was, and I'm doing what I love to do, and the future is bright. Right, Frank?